Hi, 1 Hour Smart Home here, and today we're going to show you how to install a Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer that will let you remotely control your lighting from your phone or with voice assistance. The very first thing that we need to do to get this set up is turn the power off to our existing light switch down at the circuit breaker, so go do that now. Once you've turned it off, you want to check to make sure it's off by trying to turn the light switch back on at the switch itself and make sure that nothing connected to that turns on and that you have the right circuit breaker turned off. It's also a good idea to then check with a secondary method like a non-contact voltage meter to ensure that there is no power remaining on this switch and that it is safe to remove so that we can install the Lutron Smart Diva Dimmer. Now, in order to remove this, we're just going to take these two screws off the cover plate. Now, it's important to note that in order to install the Lutron Diva Dimmer and control it from your phone, you're going to need a Lutron Bridge. A lot of times it's sold with the switch, but if you don't have one, check down in the description below and you can get one of those right off Amazon. But you need that in order to be able to control it from your phone. But you could always install this and then connect that bridge later and you'll still be able to control it from your phone once you get that bridge and activate the smart functionality of the Diva Dimmer. Now that we've got the cover plate off, it's once again a good idea to confirm that there is no live power on this circuit or on this light switch and that we can remove it. Now we're just going to remove these two screws holding in the existing light switch. Now we can pull the switch out and inspect the wiring, and you can see what we've got here is our incoming wire. That's our incoming hot wire or line wire, it's also sometimes called, and that is the incoming electricity down from the circuit breaker, goes in through the hot, and then it goes out through this wire up here at the top, which is called the load wire, and that's going to go to your light fixture, and that goes up through our wall and up to that light fixture. So in my case, the hot wire is coming from down below where our electrical panel is in that circuit, and that is the bottom wire here that's going to be on this, and you want to mark that hot or line wire. I've got mine marked with a piece of electrical tape so you know what it is. And then our load wire goes out to the top, and that goes out to our actual light fixture. Now, the other wire that we've got here is our ground wire. That is our unshielded copper wire here. And sometimes that's going to be an insulated wire, but it will be a green insulated wire. So it's just unshielded and connected to this ground terminal right here on the top of the actual light switch. I've just got the light switch upside down for right now to show you how it looks. Now let's take a little bit closer look inside the box. We've got some other wires in there, and that white wire is actually a neutral wire. However, we do not need a neutral wire to install the Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer switch. These particular smart switches do not require a neutral wire, which is what makes them very easy to install, and it also makes them compatible with older homes that don't have a neutral wire. So in my house, the wiring was done semi-recently, so I do have a neutral wire, but if you've got a house built before, let's say 1980, you may or may not have that neutral wire in there. However, it's not important for this installation because the Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer does not require a neutral wire. So now that we've taken a picture of the wires and we've seen everything that's going on here, let's remove each one of these wires from where they're being held in place. We removed our hot wire, and if you haven't already, mark it so you know which wire it is. Now we've removed our load wire, and all we have left is to remove our top wire here, which is our ground wire. Now we've got all of our wires removed and we're ready to install the Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer switch. We've got our Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer switch that we're going to install here, and our green wire, that's our ground wire. This blue wire we actually will not need for this installation. This is for when you are installing this in a three-way switch application. And a three-way switch is where you've got two switches controlling one light fixture or set of light fixtures like you would find at the top and bottom of the stairs. This is not a three-way switch. This is a single pole application. Now our other two wires here, this red wire, that is our load wire, which is the wire that's going to be going up to the light fixture up above us. And then the other wire we have here, this is our hot wire, and we need to connect that to the incoming hot power and wire that we've got right here. So let's get started connecting these. Now, since I'm not going to be using this three-way switch wire, I'm just going to cap it off with a wire nut or a connector. Now, you have a few options for connecting the wires. You can use traditional wire nuts like we've got here, where you would just take your hot wire that's in the box and the hot wire that is actually going to the switch itself, and then you would twist these together. You want to make sure there's no exposed wiring right here. If you use this, you can see that would leave a little bit exposed. So you would need to either trim this wire or you need to twist them together so that when you have your actual wire nut on, that you won't have any kind of exposed wire, because that could lead to a short and you do not want that. However, what I like to use, and is a lot simpler, especially if you're changing a lot of switches, is these Wago wire nuts, which you can get online. I haven't found them in any big box stores yet, but we'll include a link to these below. And what's really nice about these is that you just trim these to length, the wires here, and then you can slip these on, and these just pop in place and then are secured with the levers. It's a really nice system, so that's what we're going to use today. Make sure my wire is nice and straight there, and then I'm just going to slip it into the Wago connector, and I'm going to flip that lever down, and now it is stuck all the way in there. You can see it at the bottom. You want it to bottom out, and you want to make sure there's no exposed wire there. There is not. So we've got that on that one, and you can see these are very nice and tight on there, so we're good to go with that. Now, in terms of getting this connected to the other side of the wire right here, we are going to need to trim a little bit off. As you can see, that wouldn't go all the way in. There would be a little bit sticking out. So we're going to trim a little bit off so it's more like that inside the connector. Since I've got the Wago nut on the hot wire, now we're going to connect our hot wire on the switch right here, which is this black wire. And we're going to take it, we're just going to open up this lever for the other side of the Wago, and we're going to insert it in there, and now we're going to flip that down, and you can see these wires are nice and tight in there, and you can see both wires at the very end of this, which is what you want to see. So make sure you've got it in there all the way, and you've got it all the way to the end. Flip that in, and then do a little pull test to make sure that isn't coming out. So that is now in there really well. The next wire I'm going to connect is going to be my ground wire. Now, you could connect these in any particular order, but I'm going to use the ground wire, and I'm just going to use one of these wire nuts just to show you how it would go if you were connecting it. So I would like to wrap this around here a little bit to get it started, and then I'm going to put my wire nut on, and what that's going to do is just get it pre-threaded so that when I twist this in place, those wires are going to really stay nice and locked together. So you could use these traditional wire nuts. They are provided in the box. You just want to make sure that you have the right size. So now let's connect our load wire, which is this red wire that we've got from our Lutron Diva Dimmer switch right here. And we need to connect it to the load wire that we've got right here. And once again, we're going to trim this up a little bit so that it fits in the connector. Now I take my load wire from the switch, put it into the connector, make sure that it bottoms out at the bottom of the connector, and then I'm going to lock it down. Do a little pull test, make sure that's on there nice and tight. It is. And now I'm just going to check, is that the right size for this? And it is. And I'm going to take this and insert it into the Wago nut. And then I'm just going to flip that lever down once I've got it bottomed out. Make sure there's no exposed insulation. We're good to go there. And now this is nice and secure. Once again, do that little pull test to make sure that you're good to go there. So we've almost got our Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer wired up. The only thing that we've got left is this blue wire for three-way switching. We're not going to use that. So what we're going to do is just trim that down and put a wire connector on it so that it doesn't connect or contact anything else in the junction box for the wall. Trim it down a little bit, and now we're just going to put our Wago connector on there and lock it in place. Now everything is wired up, and I can't stress enough, if you are doing a lot of these light switches in your home, using something like a Wago connector is much easier than using the wire nuts. However, the wire nuts are much less expensive and more available, so that's a much more common practice to use the wire nuts, and I still use them many times because they are so much less expensive. But we'll include a link to either one of these options down below, so check them out if you want to go with this little easier method and cleaner method like the Wago wire connectors. Now we're going to take all of our wires and fold them back into the box, and then we're going to mount the switch in the box. We take our 2 screws and insert them into the holes in the junction box, and now we just need to tighten them down in place. Now that we've got the Lutron Diva Dimmer screwed in place, let's put our cover plate back on and secure that. Now we've got the Diva Dimmer installed and we're ready to restore the power down at the circuit breaker. So turn on your power now down at your circuit breaker, and then this light switch should light up and be able to turn on. And now you can see that power has been restored, and I can turn on the switch by pressing at the top or turn it off by pressing down at the bottom of the switch, and then I can also dim it. That little light bar there is pretty cool that shows you the current dimming level. I really like that feature. So now that we've got our Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer installed, we're going to connect it to the Lutron Bridge, which you need in order to install this and set it up so that you're going to be able to use it from your phone. Now that we've got the Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer set up, we need to set up the Lutron Caseta Smart Bridge or Lutron Caseta Smart Hub. This is what enables us to control the Lutron Diva Dimmer from our phone or with a voice assistant, and is what connects it to the internet. So this gets connected to your router, and we've got it connected with an Ethernet cord right here, and then that end then connects into our router right here. And that's what we need in order to be able to have internet control of our Smart Diva Dimmer. This connects it to the internet, and then this sends the wireless signals out to that Diva Dimmer so that it can be controlled. You also need to power it up here. It comes with a power adapter, so we've got that plugged in and powered up. Once you've got the Ethernet cord connected and it's powered up and plugged in, you can switch over to the Lutron app, and then we can start getting it set up from there. Now that we've powered up the Smart Bridge, we're ready to add it to our account. If you haven't done so already, download and install the Lutron app, create a username and password, and then log in. This is the first screen for the Lutron app, and all we're going to do here is click Add a Home. It says make sure this phone is connected to your home Wi-Fi network. We are setting up a new Caseta system, so click Yes. It is, so I click I am on my home Wi-Fi network. Here it says connect your Lutron system to the router of your home Wi-Fi using the provided Ethernet cable. We've already done that, so I click I've connected my hub to router. We've plugged it in, click Start Discovering. It says found your system. Tap the button on the hub. On the back of the hub there's a small button, so we're going to tap that. It says this Lutron system already has another account. Would you like to remove the old account and other users? I'm going to click Confirm. Connecting to your Lutron system. Now we can click Next. Here our location pops up, and I'm going to click Allow Lutron to use our location while using the app. It says you can schedule your lights and shades based on time and location. I'm going to click Next. This is the screen that pops up after we finish setting up our Lutron Caseta bridge. So now we're ready to add our Lutron Diva light switch to the Lutron app so that we can control it remotely. So let's go back up to the light switch and do that now. Here we are back up at the light switch, and we're going to click on the settings button. Now we're going to click add a device. Here it says getting ready to add devices. Now we need to choose what type of device we're adding. We're adding an in-wall dimmer, switch, or fan control. It says press and hold the bottom button for 10 seconds until the LED blinks quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you can see that LED is blinking quickly. We're going to make a selection. We'll just choose Master Bedroom and click Next. What type of light does this dimmer control? Ceiling lights. Now I'm going to click Main. Click Next. Adding device. There we go. Our device is added. I'm done. Finishing setup. Let's click on our device right here. Now I can control it remotely from the phone. I can turn it on or off or adjust the dimming level. If I click down here, it turns it off. If I click up here, it turns it on. And then I can slide the dimming level and adjust whatever percentage I want. I could also adjust the dimming level by clicking these buttons right here. What's great about this is you can also see the dimming level right here on the side of the device. I can slide it down all the way to the bottom, in the middle, or go all the way up. And then I can turn off the switch right here or turn on the switch by hitting on the top. It's really neat that you have both the controls on the app and you have the controls on the device itself. Now you can also control this with voice commands. It works with compatible voice assistants like Siri, Apple HomeKit, Google Home, and Alexa. Now I can add it to scenes or create a schedule as well. So I could schedule this to turn on during certain times of the day or schedule it to turn on, let's say, at dark. Click Next. And I'm just going to click Turn it on at sunset and click Next. And we can choose our lights right here. And I can choose a dimming level. I want it to be 100% on and click Done. Now, every night at sunset, this light will turn on to its full brightness. Now, I won't actually use it like that, but it does show you what you can do with those different types of schedules. And with scenes, you can add multiple devices together to one scene so that you could turn on, let's say, all the lights in one room, or you could turn all the lights on in one floor of your house, or you could turn on all exterior lights or all interior lights if you have multiple Lutron Diva Smart Dimmer switches. So overall, I really like this Lutron Diva Smart Switch. It was fairly easy to install because it does not require a neutral wire. And I do like the updated aesthetics and appeal of this light bar. It does look really slick in person, as well as just the simplified controls of on or off. So if this video was helpful for you, please subscribe as it helps support this channel. Give us that thumbs up. Check down in the description below for any of the products that we mentioned, and we also have some merch and products that we represent that help support this channel. Thank you for watching this video on how to install your Lutron Smart Diva Dimmer or how to wire up your Lutron Smart Diva Dimmer. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.